So today we're going to do the Ford 3000 upper seal steering repair as laid out in the instruction book. If any of you have a Ford 3000 and it's not been done, you're probably puking power steering fluid up through the just below the steering wheel, and that is because the seal has been destroyed, keeping that oil where it belongs. So the book lays out a way to do that, and we're going to do that today. Now I have my tractor apart because I had to replace the engine. You do not have to go nearly that far. You do have to take the hood off. The hood is held on by a bracket with 2 bolts on this side, right about here, 2 bolts on the other side. There's also 2 bolts right here that connect to this housing I just took off. And then you have to disconnect your main wiring harness right here. Main wiring harness connection right here. So that's all done already, and I thought while I'm here I might as well get this done because it's been driving me crazy. Literally 2 minutes after I drove this tractor off of the trailer, when I got to the house, it started puking up hydraulic fluid out of the steering wheel. My solution at the time was to wrap a rag around the steering wheel and just have manual steering for a while. But I figured since I was this far in, I might as well do it. So this is the bottom of the steering shaft, and this slick spot you can see right here is where the seal, the upper seal, rides. This is another large spot on the shaft. I don't know what it's for. There's nothing that indicates it's for a seal or anything. There's nothing in the housing here that would hold a seal. But basically what happens is this gets so bad that it can't seal because this gets pitted. Mine's pretty bad. It's hard to see, but when that happens and you put a new seal in, it just ends up leaking anyway. So the solution to this problem is with a product they call Speedy Seal. It looks a lot like this. It's a very, very thin piece of metal. This is the installation tool that comes with it. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to put this down over the shaft. We're going to drive it onto this little flat spot that's bad. Take this tool and we're going to put it on there. And then you take a pair of pliers and you rip off this flange. And what it leaves you is a nice surface for your seal to go against. Now, according to the website, you do not have to, you can use the same seal that you would normally use. I will link the seal part number and the Speedy seal, the Speedy sleeve part number. That will fit for sure Ford 3000s, probably 2 and 4 as well, but don't quote me on that. The last part of this is, according to this manual, it's saying to fabricate this seal guide using a piece of 3/4 inch electrical conduit, and then boring the inner diameter, counter boring the inner diameter to 27/32. That is going to be what we do today. Now, normally you would do this with a lathe. I don't have a metal lathe, so what we're going to do is use whatever tools I have to make this happen. I looked for a 27/32 drill bit. You can buy them with 1/2 inch shank, about $30. My problem was that I didn't see that going very well. We're only going to have about 20 thou of material when we're done with this drill. So I didn't see any way to drill this without a lathe anyway, to make this piece. So I'll show you what I did. We're going to see if it works. We haven't done it yet, but I think we're going to make it work. This is a piece of 3/4 inch EMT, electrical metal conduit. It's saying it's 18 inches overall. It's saying it needs to counterbore 3 inches to 27/32 on this side. I don't have that, obviously, but I'm going to show you what we're going to try. I brought my Speedy seal with me, and I just need to make sure that this fits in over this speedi seal, because when we get done, we're going to put this over the speedi seal with the seal already over this edge. We'll put that piece in, and then we'll pull this guide out, and that'll seat the seal over this without cutting that seal lip. So I don't have a metal lathe, but what I do have is a shop smith, and I do have a decent 3-jaw chuck as part of that. So what I did was I went to the toolbox and I found some of these metal rasps. Hopefully focus you. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and rasp out the center of this EMT and get it to a point we can make it all happen. Now, as far as the 3 inches goes, what you have to get around is that second raised piece of steering shaft that I told you didn't really serve a purpose for being raised, but that's why we can't do just the very end. If we could do just the very end, it would be pretty easy. But stay tuned, and this is what's going to happen. I'll set this up and we'll go. Obviously, if you're doing this at your shop, don't, because it's dangerous as all get out. There's a spinning piece, and I'm holding it with bare hands with no steady rest. And I've got like a foot sticking out in front of this thing, so it's not the way you do it. Unfortunately, I don't have a steady rest. I don't have any other way to do this. So, don't do as I say, or do, or anything like that. So I used that a lot. The other thing I did off camera was I chucked up this piece and used a drill so that I would try and make that counter bore as even as possible. And I was just turning this as I went. Okay, back in the shop now. We first made sure that our seal fits over the top. And then we need to make sure that this is going to go all the way down to there. And indeed it will. So, we're done with the tool. Now we have to put on the speedi seal. Now it doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to put some red Loctite around this backside to help seal it and to help it never to move. I don't think it's going to, but I think that's a better idea. What we'll do is we'll measure the inside portion here to where we know the seal is going to be, and we know where this surface will mate with the tractor, and then we'll measure up the drive shaft from there. Okay, so I'm going to use the straight edge to make sure I'm straight across, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom of the seal, and we're sitting right at 2 3/4, exactly 2 3/4, and obviously we need to take out the ruler, which is 1 inch. So 1 3/4 should put me, we'll just kind of eyeball it and make sure that we're not crazy. 1 3/4, perfect. So 1 3/4 will be to the top of the seal. So this is the new seal, and we know that it is 3/8 thick. So it's thicker than, quite a bit thicker than our speedi. Actually, it's really close to that. Yeah, it's a little under 3/8, and this was a little just at 5/16. So, I don't know if you can make out in here. There's basically 2 ridges. So what I'm going to want is I'm going to want the seal goes in, so the spring is down. And there is a seal right at the top. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to cheat this up about a 1/16 from the seal. Remember, we were at 1 3/4 to the top of the seal, and then I want to go another 1/16 of an inch to, I'll call it a heavy 1/16, to the top of this, so that way the upper lip of the seal rides in the right place, and both of these seals are getting wear on this piece. So let's go mark the tractor and get this installed. Okay, so I have my caliper, or my measurements, and again we're going to make sure, going from a clean surface, so we know. We're going to here, and then we are just over the top. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run the speedi seal all the way to this raised edge, and then there's a fillet that goes down to this other diameter. So we're going to drive that thing right to that point. So I'm going to want my seal to be right at the top of this surface. Boy, it's warm. You can see why another seal just wouldn't do any good at all. So I'm going to take my tool and I'm going to drive this right to the top of this flange, because I don't want it hanging out with nothing behind it. That's not going to do any good. But that's where the original is, so that makes sense to where that would be. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of red Loctite in the side of here. We're going to pound this down using the tool. Now I'm going to go flange down because that's where this tool is going to grab, and then we're going to rip this flange off later. Now what this tool's great and all if like it was here and I could hit on it, but it's not. So what I've devised is I found this piece, which was in the Harbor Freight, I think it was the ball joint kit, and that fits over that diameter and matches up pretty good with that. Then I just have a piece of black pipe that will fit onto that, and just a hammer to get that down. So that's what I'm going to be using. And then when I'm done, where I like it where it is, we'll take some pliers and we'll rip off this flange. Okay, so tools are all handy. I know where my mark is. That's going to the top. So let's just get a little of this junk. And we'll spread it out amongst this stuff. So put a little bit on both. Okay, have that down over. Tool. Other tool. Hammer. I have no idea how hard or soft this is going to be, but okay, that ain't gonna happen. Alright, that seems to be doing some good. Not quite there yet. Go slow, because it's not going to be easy to bring it back up. Just doing about 2 taps. And oh, I'm not there yet. Yeah. Okay. I believe I like it. In fact, probably just a little too far. Well, we're going to see how hard it is to bring it back up. It may be impossible. And if it is, there it is. Yeah, that ain't going to come up. Alright, so we are down. I don't know, maybe a 1/16 more than I really wanted to. But man, there's not going to be any bringing up. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I like that way better. Okay. I love where this is at. Again, we can make sure our shaft fits onto it. That's great. Rid of this flange, and I'm just going to take a pair of tin snips. I'm going to cut that right there, and we're going to grab it with a pair of needle nose, and we're just going to start rolling it. And so I got a bigger pair of their little needle nose, and you can see it's working way better. So that's ripping right on that line like it's supposed to. Oh my goodness. Stress my load. There. Okay. So it's easy only down south. We have excess lock tight over there. Okay, so now we got a nice surface. Let me see right on. This is, if you take this apart, there's a very specific way it has to go back together. So just be aware of that if you dig into your lower seal. I did not. Everything was working fine. So I just want to make sure it's clean. We definitely don't need any more crap getting into this seal and destroying it. And I think that's what happens a lot of time, is that this bushing at the very top, at least mine was just worn as it gets, and it lets crap into here, and then you're just grinding dirt into that seal and it just destroys it. So the next two jobs is, number one, I need to clean the inside of this housing out. I need to install that seal into here. I need to grease it up and then get the tool on there, and then we'll put this guy on with the new O-ring. So let's, I'm not sure how we're going to clean this. There is a ton of crap on the inside of this thing. See what I come up with. So what I think I came up with was a piece of all thread, 2 bolts, 2 washers, and a little bit of rag. I think I can get this down. I don't know what the proper amount of cloth is. It's probably way too much. We're gonna try it. Alright, so we will liberally apply that. We'll stick this as well. I have no idea if it's clean in there or not. I just want to clean up where the seal is going to go right here, so we'll hit that real quick and then we should be good to go. Eye protection, not a joke. Alright, so I'm going to wire wheel this, get everything out of this groove. Okay, so now I have my seal. There is a closed and a lip with a spring side to each seal. The spring side goes down towards a control valve, so it will be facing up for this install. I've got a socket to help me drive my seal, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this tool now, because I think it'll be easier to do while the seal's out and then drive it in. So that's what we're going to try now. So I'm going to put a ton of grease into the seal. It's not so much because the seal needs to be lubricated as much as I just want to make sure it gets over this end of my tool undamaged. So lube both those up. And we'll put this in, spring side up. And again, just stretch it so you're not damaging the seal. If your tool ended up like mine, it's got a fairly sharp edge there on the end. And we put the seal in. Again, making sure the spring side is out. And the spring side should be facing you right now. It'll end up pointed down into the... Okay. Okay. Seal is in. I have damaged the tool. Okay. I hope this is going to work, but I don't know. So by hitting it with the hammer, I damaged it. Alright, but we're going to try. Here's my O-ring. Just going to make sure it's good and greasy. One main thing to make sure it stays in place. Okay. Okay, back at the tractor. You can see that I've got the seal and my seal guide. You can kind of see where I banged it up. There's no sharp edges this way, so I think I can pull it through the seal. Okay. So we're gonna put this over the shaft, and I'm just gonna make sure I make it onto the speedy seal. And it looks like we're down. Okay, so new seal's on. These are down. I've torqued my bolts. Now we're going to take our new bushing and we are going to put it on the steering shaft. Okay, so that is down. You want to take your felt. Actually, before we do any felt, there's an oil-like bushing in there. So let's grab some oil. Just help it turn. There we go. Now, it's as easy as felt gasket, hood, this, we're going to get her down. There we go. Oh, way better. Way better. Okay. Okay, well that is one repair finished. Now I just got to put an engine in this thing, but I'm just a few days from that. I'll go ahead and make videos on that as well. I think there's some out there on that, but just assembling the PTO clutch and putting a new clutch in, so that'll be something. I think this is a pretty good way to do it. Other than beating, I shouldn't have put the seal in with this in it. I damaged it. Didn't end up hurting me, but not the best way to do it. This does work as a cheap and easy way to get it done. So feel free to make your own. If anybody wants this one, leave the comments down below and I will be happy to send this to you. Because I'm not doing this again. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and we'll see you later.